Alright, hey guys, how you doing out there? Today we're gonna build a computer that I've been really excited about building. And Zach, my cameraman's behind the camera. He's gonna help me with the camera controls and everything. The computer I'm building is pretty high-end, new 5080 graphics card. The ROG Creator board, NZXT case, 4 terabytes of Crucial SSD M.2, the new Lee power supply with the side mounts, 1000 watts. We've got a Thermaltake AIO, matches everything, and a graphics card stand vertical mount. As you can see, we have it all here. We're going to go with 128 gigabytes of Dominator Corsair RAM with the Intel Core Ultra 7. I'm hoping that this PC will be able to do LLMs, large language model AI, and it's pretty much, I expect it to meet my expectations. Okay guys, this is the RAM that we're using. It is Platinum RGB Corsair, 64 gigs each. This is the Intel Core Ultra unlocked 265KF with the LGA 1851. I know everybody out there is going to talk a little smack about me not using a PCI Gen 5, but they're way too much money. So I got a 4 terabyte Gen 4 Crucial. Okay guys, I know this is what you all want to see. This is the most expensive part on the whole computer. I haven't even opened this up yet. But we're getting to open it up right now. Comes with your drivers and warranty registration card. Comes with your adapter cable. You know it draws a lot of power. If it's got 3 of those, it goes to 1 cable. You got your mount to keep the bracket, to keep it supported. Right there. Put that stuff back in there for now. You have, that must be the cover for that. More, well, I'll have to check and see what that is. But here's the card. That's a massive card, 5080, latest. That is the latest that there is. So we're going to see how that performs in its day-to-day activities. As you can see, there's the ATX 12 power connector. Good fans. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. Okay guys, here's the ROG. It's the matching motherboard to that graphics card that I just shown you. Boy, that's sexy. That's a nice motherboard. I'll pull it out of here so you guys can see it. 2 power header connectors for the CPU. Those are for overclock. The first one's for power to power it. The second one is to overclock your processor if you want to. But that is a very, very nice looking board. It's going to go great with that GPU over there. Several connectors, ARGB, USB audio. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots for M.2s, and this is your LGA 1851. I like this. It's got a little diagnostic code on it. Very nice board. Very nice board. Fire Thunderbolt right there. Front port USB-C. This has the new style of antenna. Fiber optics. On board if you got on board. USB-C. 2 Ethernet cables. That's special. Okay, we're going to put this up and I'm going to unbox the case, the power supply, and show that to you guys. And then we're going to maybe take a break and get into the build. This is the 1000G Edge Gold PSU made by Lee. Everybody out there likes Lee. Lee is a leader when it comes to PC building. People building their own PCs. As you can see, this has the 12 volt connector on it. It has spots for ARGB powered. There's a bunch of hub. There's a hub built into this. This is a very special PSU. You guys know what PSUs are, and I'm showing you everything on here. This PSU comes with everything you see here. Hub is, you can take the hub off, cleanable screen, 12 volt power going to your 600 watt graphics card. I'm not going to unbox this right now because you guys pretty much know what power supply is. A lot of you probably aren't familiar with Thermaltake, but I've done a lot of PC building in my time, and I really like these. They really work as good probably as the Rygen or you know, Corsairs, but these are more economical for regular Joes to buy. I can spend $50 on this, or I can spend $350 on a Rygen, and I'm not about that. I've already spent enough on the rest of the computers. I'll show you this more in detail when we get it to getting put on the computer. I don't know if you guys know what this is. Leave it in the comments if you know what it is. Maybe you can get it before I tell you. This is a vertical graphics card mount so that I can set the graphics card standing up instead of laying down. It just got a better aesthetic. People like it looking like that. We went through all this. Zach, you'll probably have to help me unbox this one. This is the NZXT H6 Flow case. I've had a lot of good luck with it. I like the way it looks. If you like the way your PC looks, some people don't care what their PC looks like. All they care about is that it operates at maximum efficiency. And I understand that, but if I'm going to have something that costs me a bunch of money like that, I'm going to make it look good too. By the way, I'm not sponsored in any way by any of these companies that I bought this stuff from. Maybe they could send me some sponsor money. That would be cool. But I don't think that's going to happen. Always keep your boxes. I'll keep all these boxes, and when I sell this computer, they'll have a link to go look at the build, and they'll have all their boxes in case they want to trade out parts and sell parts. They always sell better when you have the boxes. Pamphlet for it. Now that is a beautiful case. Beautiful case. Double chamber, dual chamber, so that I don't have to worry about hiding everything in it. It'll be automatically hidden. It has room for 7, 8, 9 fans in there with no problem. Plus you have your 3 on your GPU. Let me show you how easy this thing is to take apart. One screw. And over here on the other side, one screw. Okay, a lot of room in here. A lot of room in here. You can do all kinds of stuff in here. You got a spot for your hard drives or your smaller SSDs. You got your 2.5s will fit in there. You got your room for your power supply. All your cable management is going to be top notch. As you can see, this computer has USB-C, 2 USB ports, your microphone, or your 3.5 millimeter jack. You have a spot. You have mini PCI spots, no problem. So I'm hoping that graphics card will replace these, and I won't have no issues. But we'll have to see about that. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Okay, guys. This is what we're going to do. I'll probably move that out of the way. I'm going to get this board ready to, so that we can put it in the case and get a move in on this build. So the first thing you got to do is put the processor in. This is our Ultra Core 7 265K. Okay, and that processor has to go into this socket right here. And as we take that socket off, okay, we have to take this white piece off. Actually, you can put this in there so I can figure out how to open it. There's the 1851 points of contact on this processor. And as I look at that processor socket, I have to figure out what goes where. Okay? And it is looking like it goes this way. So once you figure out how it goes, your words are going up, you're going to set it in that socket. Be very careful not to bend any of them pins. You need to set that in there nice and neat. Okay, and you come around here with this. You can either take it off manually, or you can just push that down and it'll come right off. That's pretty tough right there, so you have to push that down so that it will, put enough pressure on that to go down. So now your CPU is installed. Okay, I didn't show you this, I already had these off, but these are the heat sinks for these little guys, SSDs. The M.2 SSD to be exact. A lot of people out there are going to give me a hard time because I don't have a ground strap and all that, but I built hundreds of PCs and I'm just not worried about that. So you have to look at this little mark right here, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little mark in here, a little slot. Oop. Getting a little excited. Once you get that in the slot and pushed into this socket, just like that, you just push this down, and that is now installed. Okay, this heat sink goes on there. Make sure you take the plastic off before you put it on. That way it will adhere to that SSD, and it will be the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so you just have to click that down. I don't know if you can see that from there, but you just had to click that down. Now, on this build, I'm not putting any more SSDs in it, so I'm going to go ahead and put these back in, leave the heatsink tape on there so you don't have to worry about it when you go to change it and put another one in there, which I will probably come back here and put several in this because this is going to be my creator rig. All right, the next step is your memory. Okay, if you look at a DDR4 or DDR5 memory, that slot that's in there is in a different spot on each one of them, so you can't mistakenly, I've seen people try to jam them in there and it's not good. So you look to see where it goes, which way it goes. just go ahead and open up all your slots so you don't break anything when you're putting it in there. You see a little sign right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says first. And it says B2 and A2. Okay? So your first one's going to go in A2. Alright. Your second one's going to go in B2, A2, whichever one. I maybe said that out of turn, but alright, your RAM is in. Save this for later. Save it. Because if you ever go to upgrade this or do anything with it, you're going to want to put this back in to save them pins. There's 1,851 pins in a 2-inch spot. And they're very easy to bend. Now that that's done, we're going to open up our Thermaltake AIO and we're going to see about putting the mount on here, see how it mounts, and make sure that we get that done before we put this board inside the case. So Zach, if you could hand me the Thermaltake AIO. Yep. We're going to move this board over a little bit. And we're going to open up that. Zach's opening it up now. Remember guys, I told you earlier, save all your boxes. I don't care down to this. Save it. Because when you go to resell this property or this computer, people are going to be more willing to buy it when you have the correct boxing for it. This is the AIO. This is the all-in-one cooler. This is what keeps that processor nice and cold so that it can do the things that it needs to do. Comes with your book, your miscellaneous hardware, and a very nice, very big cooling radiator. A very large contact point for that CPU right there. Don't forget to take that film off when you actually put it on. Now, you can see all them wires. That's the one drawback of the cheaper AIO, is that you have to daisy chain these, and some of the newer $300 ones, they just snap together and you don't have to do that. You have one wire. I choose to do this to keep cost effective now. Now, if that's the AIO, we got to figure out what kind of mount it's going to take. I've put a lot of these on, so I already know pretty much which ones it's going to take. There's a little hub to try and break down your wiring situation over there. All of these come with several different mounts. I save these. I may use them on some of my used parts, whatever. It even comes with a stick of thermal paste. I got about 100 of those laying around. They're getting away a lot of times. Okay, Intel. You have an Intel bag. Then you have an Intel bracket. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Core 7 is an Intel. Whoop! Trying to get in a hurry here. Shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Hit it, boy. Alright, empty out your bag. These items right here go on top. They'll be on the front side of the board. In this kind of configuration right here. On both sides of that board. So, as you pull out your Aqua Elite manual, oh no. Oh no.
Turn around. Turn around.
No.
English?
My problem is there's no 1851 socket on this, Zach. The box, does it say 1851? It does say 1851. So it must be the same as the 1700. And it is the exact same. So it does not tell me they have not updated their manual. They sure have updated the box, but not the manual. Huh. That's a trip. Okay, so let's just take it to the 1700. Right here. We got C. We need H. And we need J. And we need those. All right. So, might as well just open them all up and put them all right here. We're going to have to see which slot these go in. And I'm going to say they go in the outside slot. Yep. Zach, you having fun over there?
Yep.
All right. We are going to stand this up. And we are going to put this in. And hope that we can get it in nice and neat. Oh, Zach, we're going crazy here. Boy, I don't like the way you have to do that. Got to be a better way, but got to be a better way. But ain't nobody got time for that. Put your blue pieces on there. I don't know why they make them blue, because, you know, I just don't know if I want blue on my board. Okay. Once you get all those on there, if I could ever do it. Well, it looks like I can't do it. Zach, it looks like I lost a piece. Did I? Nope, there we go. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. I need that. Never mind, Spec. Now, I don't know how. Now, that's how they want it. Don't ask me why. Okay, boys and girls, I don't. Zach, let me know if they can see that or not. Can you?
For the most part. The GoPro's gonna have the best angle of it.
Okay, now you have your bracket mount support on there. Okay, now you can do it one of two ways. You can either put that on now and try to hold that while you're mounting that on there. I prefer to put that on first. Put this on your case first and then put that on second. So that's what we're gonna do. You can tell me, or you can't tell me what it looks like, can you? Guys, you got 6 risers right here. I'm not recording over here, Zach. You can go over here and pull up a quick pro to make sure that those 6 risers go in, or it's really nine risers, mounting brackets that when you put that computer in there, when you put that board in there, you make sure that everything goes in there the way it's supposed to. All right. All right. So once you get your hardware pack out of the computer, you're going to open this up. You're going to get a bunch of screws and stuff, and some zip ties that you can use for cable management later. So right now I am looking for these middle screws right here. Helps to have a magnetic screwdriver also. That really helps out a lot. My son bought me a nice automatic screwdriver, but I didn't take care of it. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my power supply in. So I'll let Zach get the power supply and bring it over here to me, and we'll set this up for a minute and open up the power supply. This really sucks working like this because your back just, you know, when you get old like me, your back is just not right. Okay guys, I'm really excited about this power supply. I really am. I haven't had a chance to work with one like this, and it's the first side mount that I've ever had. So hope you guys are as excited as I am. You got a manual, you know, tells you what's going on with it. Got your bag of cables. Got a bunch of stuff there. That looks like dividers for the wiring. Hey, that's cool. Got some more zip ties to go along with the other ones that we have. They're white though. Take the top off. That is a pretty. Okay. Guys, I want to show you this. This is a USB and ARGB or hub for your lighting effects and stuff. I don't know that I'm going to take this off of here, out of this bag at the moment, but if you see, it just plugs in right here and mounts right here. That's really cool. Also came with wire dividers, make it look good. Okay, so also I wanted to show you this. That's really neat, man. You can take that off there and clean that. A lot of times they're not cleanable. So here's our bag of equipment that came with that power supply. There's all your cables. There's your 12 volt ATX PCIe 5 power cable. So we're going to put those up there for now. We're going to bring this case around here. Now you got to worry about sometimes when the order of operations that you do these things, because I'm getting ready to put this power supply in here and it may interfere with some other stuff that I'm doing, so I got to make sure all of that works out right. Later on I'll put a couple fans right here. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to put some fans in other places. So as you can see, this power supply just goes in and sits like that. So instead of having to try to push in this way, now I can just route my cables up and in and go in. Now after that's in, we are going to put power supply cable screws in. Are we too jumped up on that valve?
I can't really see it.
All right, power supply's in. Now we can go ahead and mock up and make sure that our this is going to go in there correctly. Couple different ways you can do it. So if I'm going to put it like that, I'm going to go around and see which way I'm going to put this. I don't like that. So it looks like I'm going to have to turn these cables a little bit. And I'm going to have to put it just like that. And that's okay with me. So, as I do this, I've got to find these screws right here so I can mount that top piece, the radiator and the fans. Then I can come back and do the rest of it. So as I pull this back off here, make sure you don't tear any of that up. Time to take it apart. Run all your wires, hide them, tie them, get them out of the way. Probably if you're watching this, I probably put a couple different versions of this up. One longer one that probably nobody will ever watch all the way. Probably a shorter one with a lot of fast forward going on. By the way, I never told you guys to like and subscribe. I think that's probably why I only got 2 followers. Me and Zach. You guys could do me a solid and follow something. Watch my other videos where I show you how to install an air conditioner or close a pool. Alright, now that we got all those taken apart, we got to figure out a way to get them through that hole in a nice orderly fashion. I may end up calling Zach in on this one. I like the way the H6 has a very open area above a full-size ATX motherboard, because that makes it to where I can just put my stuff through there and worry about where it's going once I get it on. Now, Okay. If you can pull all those in. Or I can pull them in a little while.
What's this one? What's that one doing?
That's good. Well, that's the wrong screws. I think I need these ones, Zach. Open those up for me. I'm sure Zach gets tired of me bugging him about these computers and stuff. He has to listen to me all day at work anyway. Was there more screws like that, Zach?
I think it's it. That was all that was in that bag.
And those are too small. Oh no, there's more right here. Yeah, we're getting there, guys. All right, so that's in. Now this is the big part right here that we're gonna go over. First, I gotta get this undone. I don't know what that is. And this has to go. See if we can get it through there. Okay. This here's your CPU. That's usually how I do it. It don't look very good because but that ought to be enough thermal paste to get you by. Or to work well, actually. And as I showed you earlier, okay, we got one side. All right, so that's on. I don't mind the look of that hoses. I don't mind the look of the, I think it looks pretty dang good. The only problem I have is I now have to get this, make it look good also. And sometimes that can be difficult. So. There ain't no real good way to do that, is my problem. So, we go on with it. And you can hardly see that. I mean, I'm not real happy about it, but that's just how it's got to be.
Want to run it this way?
I don't know that I can get it in there, Zach. And plus, I got power cords that go right there.
Okay, yep, never mind.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm happy with that. You just got to get the rest of that ran over and get this. If you look up here, Zach. Up here, you got CPU option, CPU fan. These are the CPU fans. So all these will daisy chain together, and they'll come back through here and they'll hook up to that spot. That way, on your motherboard, you can control the fan speeds and the curve from your motherboard. So now that that's done, we've got to get a fan on the back for the exhaust. I'm going to have to find one, and then start hooking up the wiring. You can see all these black wires in this white case. I don't know why they give me black wires. It should be white, but we got what we got. Like I was telling you a minute ago, this is your Thunderbolt. This is what gives you USB-C on the front of your case. Okay, so we're gonna look for the Thunderbolt, and you can see that your Thunderbolt is right here. So we're gonna want to come in right here. Plus the USB 3.0 is going to be right above it. So we are going to come through with both of those cables. This is your USB 3.0. You're going to come through and we are going to connect those and try to leave as much cable as you can in the back. Unfortunately, I can't leave a lot of cable in the back on this one. That really sucks. All right. Not real happy about these black cables, but I guess it'll be all right. All right. So your Thunderbolt and your USB 3.0 is hooked up. Now we got to go back around there and look at some other stuff. Here we have HD audio, okay? And the other one must be USB. No, that's front panel. That's very nice. Usually I got 5 little tiny connectors that I got to connect, but with the F panel, that's one connection for all your power supply, your on-off switch, your reset, your HDD. So I know from experience that the HD audio is on that end of the board. So we're going to go in right here. See that HD audio right there? If you look inside there, it says HD audio. You have to look at the pin cable right here. There's a spot that doesn't accept a pin. Okay? And you can look on there and you can see exactly where that pin's at. And just plug it in. Okay? Now, I believe we had another one. which is front panel. Your front panel's right here. Okay? Usually that's around where your front panel is. You can hook a little beeper speaker up to that. A few other things. I don't necessarily do that. I don't care for that very much. So we're going to come in right here. We're going to come through and we're going to see where we got to be at. We're going to pull that up. We're going to set it down. Looks like F panel.
I guess, yeah, like that, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're setting her up now. So, that's pretty much all your front panel connectors, your HD, your all that stuff. Now we got to turn this around and start working on this conglomeration of crap.
Tell us what all that is connected to.
These two wires right here are this fan for the lights and the power. Lights and power, okay? And they're all connected to each other. So it looks like they've already done a lot of the work for me. And this is the ARGB and this is the power for this whole conglomeration stuff. Okay, so we're going to set that right there, and we are going to grab the power cables and everything from here. This is for a SATA drive, peripheral. Well, we won't use that. This is a CPU. We will use that. This is also a CPU. We will use that. Most of the time they have CPU on the stick. This is also a peripheral for SATA drives or power certain stuff. We won't be using that. PCIe slot. Okay. If you were using a different kind of graphics card, you would use one of these, maybe up to 3 of these. That's what that cable that I showed you guys earlier with the 3 connectors going to 1. These would be the 3 connectors that would go to that. Fortunately, I'm using this power cable, so I don't have to use those. This is an old kind of power cable. Won't be using that either. Another PCIe, another PCIe, another SATA power. These are the 2 that I'm looking for. This is your main connector. The main 2 connectors for your power supply to your motherboard. These are all the fan motors and stuff on the top. Okay. Now, all this is going to have to stay in here. I'm going to come around, Jack. Dang it, the Thunderbolt came out. All right. Okay, these are the SATA data transfer cables. I may or may not put a 1 terabyte hard drive HDD in this. This computer is really too advanced for that. Those are old school. When you can have 20 terabytes of information for storage on an SSD. So now the front needs these cables. These are the CPU cables. We'll put these in, and then mainly 90% of the cabling on the motherboard will be done. It'll just be hiding all that stuff in the back. Where you at, Nick?
There you go.
Since the CPU that we're putting in here is actually a clockable, you can overclock it. We are going to put a. I need that underneath there. We are going to put both cables in. Come off of it, please. All right. Probably won't be able to see all of this because I gotta. Oh, I'm not even in there. Am I upside down? I sure am.
Try it the other way.
It's supposed to be getting dark in here. I can't see it. All right. Well, that one's in. I thought it was in. Is it in? Oh, the side ain't here. Now it's in. All right. All in, so you can see that now. Now the only thing left on the inside of the computer is, I wanted to show you guys this. Do you know what this is for? This HDMI right here. That right there is so you can put a display out here and connect to that. That is actually a display port. You could change probably this whole piece of glass into a display if you really wanted to spend the money on it. All right. Oh boy. Now. You got so many cables on this, I don't know about cable management. It would be kind of rough. All these out here.
Just put that one underneath. Put this one first, like you were doing. That one on top of that one.
Okay, and for now, we can just close those off to stay there for a minute. No, we're just gonna have to stay there. Okay. Damn, it's fucked up. Stay like that. Okay. Oh, this is the that goes to the thermal tech. Okay. So when you're hooking these up, you just take the 3 of each kind. So these 3 right here, try to get your other stuff out of the way, you know. One of these is going to have to go back to the board. I think there's an extension cord over there, so I don't have to really worry about it. But so one. Two. You could just put them on more and more and more if you wanted to, but we don't want to. So, what we want to do is we want to go right. I don't know if we can get in there. We'll just go right through there. So we'll go ahead and hook up the fan ARGB. Put a cover back on that. And this ARGB's got to go right back through there. You see that right there, right where it's got to go on that. So we'll turn it around. So, okay. Now we have to get the give me some light down here, Zach. This thing right here has to go through that same hole. Can you grab it?
Got it.
Okay. Now, that has to go to the CPU fan, which is right there.
Yep, the middle one. No, no. There's the other one in. Is that one right next to it in the middle? Yeah.
Guys, we're taking the memory out so that we don't have to deal with that.
Yep.
No, that's all of that. Maybe I can put a zip tie to make that thing look better. That really looks like shit. Everything's in the way, bro. That better? Oh, it's better not. That's just gonna have to be like that. Okay. Yeah, this is the pump. I know I seen a. There it is right there. Ooh. Alright. Those are done. D's got to get hooked up, so we've got to find another.
That was on that bottom row.
It's on the bottom rail.
So with these, yeah, other one.
You got a power and an ARGB. Here's the power.
Fan 1 or 2, either one. Goes 2, 3. That's fan 2.
And then we got an ARGB we got to come through with. I don't know how you fucking got that on there, Zach. Alright. You need to get underneath there, punk. So you're not out there. Alright. That's pretty much all of the inside. We're going to turn it around here and hook it up, bro. You ready? What do you think, Zach? I know it's not the prettiest. But I think it looks pretty damn good. So, these fans are going up. Those fans are going in. This fan needs to go out. Oh, we've got to get 12 volt power supply in there. In the PCIe 5 has to go in there. Got to line up those 4 pins right there into that slot right there. Can you see that, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
that upside down. Back panel. Top panel. Nice snap together, easy case, guys. Don't get no easier than that. All right, this is it, boys and girls. The day we've all been waiting for. All right, guys. This is the slot you're going to want to put your graphics card in, the higher slot on the board. That gives you, make sure that you got PCI 5. And I got to make sure which ones is going to go in right here. Here we go. In. Okay guys, I hope you liked my build. All the lights should be lighting up, they're not. There they are, look Zach, look at that shit, bro. You know that's tough, ain't it? Mm-hmm. That's badass, boy. .2 without clocking.